Warning, the following video contains footage of purposefully using dumb weapons to little or no effect. These clips were recorded by trained professionals in the art of not playing a game to its intent. Please, do not try this at home.
In Team Fortress 2, there are a lot of really cool weapons. Unique, innovative, creative killing tools that make the game fresh and interesting. Not to mention exciting. However, these are not those weapons. For every great weapon released in the game, you could pretty much say there's at least two not-so-great weapons. And these are those weapons. I am counting down my top 10 dumbest weapons in TF2. Now, these aren't what I think are worst, these are just what I think are the dumbest. And if you really want a definition of what a dumb weapon is, I can't do that. There's not a definition for that. You're just gonna have to watch, and hopefully you'll understand once we reach number 1 what a dumb weapon is. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Who doesn't love taking more damage? Well, with number 10 on the list, that's easily possible from any damage source in the game. Coming in at number 10 is the Pain Train. So this weapon, it confuses me. For one, it's a board with a nail in it. That's confusing. And for two, the upside of using this weapon is that you capture faster. Just play Scout. If you're really that devoted to standing on a cart for 2 minutes, just play Scout. And then you don't have to take damage as much, because basically with the damage penalty, you'd have about as much health as a Scout anyway, but you can't move as quickly, and you can't double jump, and that's dumb, okay? It's dumb. It's why it's in the list. I know I said these aren't some of the worst weapons, but this is quite frankly one of the worst weapons in the game. It's not good, and it's dumb. But it must be said, this thing crits like a bitch. This next weapon on the list isn't bad at all. Coming in at number 9 is the Caber for Demo Man. Now, the reason why I say this weapon is dumb isn't because it's bad or it's poorly designed or anything, but it's just unfair. Alright? What are you gonna do against a Demo Man who comes charging out around a corner all of a sudden and boom, you're dead, you're exploded, you're done? Or all of a sudden a Demo Man drops out of the sky, hits a thing on the ground in front of you, and then you're gone there too. Like, what can you do against that? It's a dumb way to die. But it's hilarious. It's one of the funniest weapons in the game, because you just charge in and blow up a whole cluster of people, and they all get so angry. And I love it. It's one of my favorite weapons in the game, and it's also one of the dumbest. Just because, what can you do against it? It's such a dumb concept, and I love that. I think it's hilarious. And I think it absolutely deserves and is rocking this spot at number 9 on the list. The next weapon on the list is a bit of a strange one. Coming in at number 8 is the Home Wrecker for Pyro. Of all the Pyro melees, this one is probably one of the most useless. So basically it's designed to either take sappers off buildings or destroy buildings quicker. If you really want to take the sappers off buildings, you should probably just play Engie. Or just use the Neon Annihilator, because then you get crits if they're in water too. And how often is a Pyro going to have the chance to smash down an enemy engineer's building? For one, a Pyro isn't the class who's supposed to be going in and destroying Engie nests. For two, a Pyro has no chance of destroying a sentry with this thing. And if you find a dispenser just like out in the wild grazing, you're not going to bother to like, hold on, I gotta press 3. Okay, and I'm gonna walk up to it and click it a couple times. No, you're just gonna mow over it with your flamethrower, pick up the scrap, and move on like you never even were there. It's just so pointless. I don't get it. Like, yeah, you have a sledgehammer. Oh wow, that's really cool, but what'd it do? You know? So that's why it has a spot on this list. Who needs to build buildings anyway when you can be a ninja? Number 7 on the list is the Eureka effect for Engineer. Now, this weapon has a really cool principle behind it. You can teleport behind enemy lines if you get your exit down there, and that's awesome. You can jump up and surprise them if it worked that way. The thing about this weapon is you get a damage penalty and a metal capacity, like per hit penalty, so you can't do anything with it. If you're choosing this weapon, you're deciding, alright, I have resigned my duties as an engineer. I am now a spy. I am going to teleport behind these people, and I'm going to backstab them 3 times to kill them. And that's dumb. Why would you do that? There's no reason, unless you want to look like an idiot like I did on this server, where people were like getting angry at me and chasing me down, and like, why is this NG just peppering us behind us? Like, who's the jackass shooting spitballs back there? Like, it just, it's great in concept, but it just doesn't work out like it does. Maybe if you could use mini sentries with it and be a complete nuisance from behind, but you can't because you need big sentries for it, but it takes forever to build them, so it doesn't work, it doesn't add up. Engineer, you're supposed to be good at math. It doesn't add up. Why not? The Eureka effect. More like the dumb effect. I nailed it. Now, what weapon does the pyro have which lights enemies on fire from close range? Yes, that is correct, the sharpened volcano fragment. The thing I do not understand about the number 6 weapon on this list is, why does it exist? It does what the principal weapon of the whole reason a class exists is supposed to do, but just worse. You have to pick a flamethrower if you're going to be playing pyro, so why would you pick the volcano fragment? It does what the flamethrower does, but just worse, at a much less DPS. I don't understand why it exists. It looks awesome. It looks so badass. And then it is one of the worst weapons in the game. I said I wasn't like making this list of bad weapons. This is just a straight up bad weapon. It's so bad it is making me angry. I really need to calm down. I'm taking a bubble bath. Coming in at number 5 is the most situational weapon in the game. Yep, it's everybody's favorite, the Sun on a Stick for Scout. So in order to make this weapon work, you 1 must have a pyro on the team, 2 you must work in proximity with that pyro, 3 you and that pyro must stay alive long enough together to deal any damage, and 4 it doesn't even do that much damage when it crits. The thing about this weapon is if it did like 4,000 damage when it crit someone, then it might actually be worth it. But the thing is, when you walk up to someone, you still have to hit them twice to kill them, and because they're already burning, you probably would just have to hit them once anyway, and they would go off and then burn into a sad heap elsewhere. So if you really want to capitalize on killing people with fire, just play pyro. Just use the mailbox and just hit them with that. It works better. It's the lollipop of doom, but it does about as much damage as a lollipop, but not even the lollipop that the pyro has. I don't get it. It's the Sun on a Stick. It's dumb. Number 4 on this list principally doesn't have anything wrong with it. The issue comes just when people try to use it the wrong way. Of course, I'm talking about the crowd favorite, the short circuit. And you can use it to its desired effect. You see a menacing demo man or soldier coming around the corner, and you just zip, zip, zip. All of his little projectiles are gone, and then he's pissing his pants running away back to his base, and you're laughing your ass off back at yours. But people don't really use this weapon for that. People use this weapon for something else. Something more like this. There's really nothing wrong with this weapon. It's just that people all the time use it to realize their dream of becoming a mosquito and ignoring everyone without doing that much damage. It works perfectly fine if you use it like you're supposed to, but after like a couple minutes you just get bored and hatch from your egg and go pester the neighbors, and then you are just the mosquito on red team, and that is your life for about 2 seconds until someone kills you because you are using the short circuit. And now we're breaking into the top 3 dumbest weapons that I have selected for Team Fortress 2. Now this next one, number 3, is actually a personal favorite of mine, just for the sound alone. Of course, I'm talking about the man treads for Soldier. I love these things. They are my favorite boots ever. If they existed in real life, I would buy them and just jump on people from buildings because the sound makes me orgasm. But in all honesty, these things are kind of just a waste of an equipment slot. If you're market gardenering, you don't want to be landing on people in the first place because the way to get the best window of opportunity to hit someone is coming in sideways. And if you really wanted to be as effective as you could be, you'd put a shotgun or the parachute in there, and you would have a much better time. But if you want to jump around a server making fart noises on people's heads, then go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. This is Team Fortress 2. We have hats, we have boots that fart. Go ahead and realize your dreams. Go, be free, my children. Fly, fly through the heavens with your fart boots. Coming in at number 2 is another personal favorite of mine. In fact, my favorite melee in the game, the Neon Annihilator for Pyro. Now, this footage is from a video of mine. Go watch it. I'm just too lazy to actually jump into a pool. But this weapon, it has some effective value. You can remove sappers, it crits people when they're wet, so you can try to get some synergy going with your team. But like I just kind of briefly mentioned in passing earlier, the only reason people use this weapon is to become pyro sharks. You will not see a single person in the entire world using this weapon for any reason other than becoming a shark. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not racist towards sharks or anything, but that is the only reason this weapon exists, so that people can realize their dreams of role-playing as Jaws. It's pretty good if you can actually get someone in water, but you're a shark, okay? If you are picking the Shark Annihilator. That's what this is. They should just recall it the fin or the big fish or something, because if you have this weapon and you're standing in a dry land, you are doing it wrong. You are using this weapon wrong. In fact, if you're using this weapon, you're using it wrong. Unless you're a shark, which I don't know what to say. It's dumb. I love it. It's dumb. Go be a shark. Just do something. Let's go to number 1.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Bubbli's official number 1 dumbest weapon in Team Fortress 2 is...
the Rap Assassin for Scout. There are so many things wrong with this weapon, dumb with this weapon, beautiful about this weapon, that I had to put it at number 1. And so let's just go ahead and roll through everything. So this weapon, it just takes the cake of dumb, okay? It's bad, it makes silly noises, it has a dumb gimmick, it has a dumb design, it's barely effective, and it's a hell of a lot of fun to use. If that doesn't sound like dumb to me, then I don't know what does. And so basically, this is a weapon you only use if you're trying to have a good time and be an idiot on a server. And that's beautiful, because that's just what Team Fortress 2 is made for. It's for being dumb. This weapon, it's a cardboard tube. It makes the sound of a cardboard tube. Who doesn't love cardboard tubes? It's great. I love silly noises. That's why the man treads are on here, because silly noises are funny. Because slapstick comedy, I don't know. But it also shoots an ornament like it's Christmas themed. Who doesn't love Christmas? And, that makes people bleed, and if you really actually wanted to make people bleed, you just use the guillotine and then get an actual melee. But who cares? You're killing people with the spirit of Christmas, and you're barely even killing people. It took me so many hours of filming worthless lives, just running around, hitting people with a cardboard tube, accomplishing nothing, and I had such a good time doing it, because this weapon is fantastic. It's so dumb, it's so useless, and it is so perfect. And such concludes the Bubbli Top 10 Dumbest Weapons.
Is it finally over? We gotta do some text.
Oh, I know, I'm sorry, but it had to end at some point. I had a great time making this list, guys. I hope you got something out of it. I know I did. I refound my love for TF2 through making this video after a long hiatus. And, maybe you agreed with me, maybe you didn't, but this was a stupid list on a stupid topic, and it's just my personal opinion. So if you get angry about this, go be angry about something else, because you're being angry about cardboard tubes. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I put a lot of love in this video, so if you could put a lot of love into that comments section, I will bake you all taquitos. So, thanks everybody, and I will see you next time with a fresh batch of taquitos. Bye bye everybody, take care.